Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. It's a big day in Lions news. Big news about TJ Hockenson. Seeing the gamut of reactions. We're going to tell you some inside scoop and what's going on and what this means for the team going forward. All right, so the news broke today that TJ Hockenson is no longer a Detroit Lion. He will be traded to the Minnesota Vikings. Oh my God, the house is burning. What are we going to do? It's a fire sale. It's all over. This is a complete shite show. What are we going to do? I'll just talk about a couple things and give you some inside information here that, we've been able to work from our sources, let you know what's going on. TJ wasn't going to play here. TJ was not going to stick with the Lions. He didn't want to be here. He wasn't happy. He wasn't jamming it in practice. He was just not involved. I don't want to say he didn't care, but he didn't care. He was doing the motions, and he wasn't going to sign here. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about anything else. It was that he wanted to go win. His buddies, the people he knows and hangs with, they're all finding success with teams that have good, opportunities. He's been through Patricia. He's been now with this regime, good or bad, no matter where it ends up. It's been a lot of losses thus far. Player doesn't know how long their career has, and he's getting to the end of his first contract, and he wants to go somewhere he's going to win. He wants that taste of winning. He knows he's been an elite tight end for a long time in college. He feels like he's an elite tight end in the NFL. Maybe he hasn't been used right, according to him. We'll see how he does in Minnesota. I have some thoughts about that as well, but for him, it's time to go out. It's time to cash in and try to make his money. It makes sense. The Lions, yeah, we could have done a fifth year. We could have done a franchise tag. But what do you get when you have a player who doesn't want to play for you at that point and you're forcing him to be there? What are you going to get out of him? I think we've seen from players in the NFL that that's just not. That's just not what you want on your team. So if you're Brad Holmes, you're the Detroit Lions, you have a season here. You've got to win at this point in the season. It doesn't look good as things go forward. Do you really want to hold on to this guy and get nothing for him? Get nothing from him, really, and nothing for him? Or do you want to try to turn it into something? We've got a shite load of picks now. We got a whole bunch of picks. And one of those picks could be a TJ Hockenson. You never know. I don't believe in the second round curse and all the things that people talk about. It's been, crappy luck, but it's just not the way things work. Luck isn't part of it. It's just it's the way things are. The picks we have, I think it's 4 in the top 60, clearing Hockenson out. Minnesota has to pay him. We'll talk about that in a second. But you clear out a bunch of cap space then you can get players that want to be here. You can build into the culture that you're trying to build. Minnesota, they have a guy they can make the run this year with TJ. He may, dance on us this year. That's fine. It happens. It's not a year to make it a big worry. If they want to keep him and pay him, great. You know what you just did? You saddled your division rival with a fat contract on a tight end because he wants to be one of the top paid tight ends. Let them pay it. We've seen what he can produce. We've seen the injuries. We've seen what he has. Love the guy. He's a nice guy and all that kind of thing. He's not worth the money that he's going to want to pull. And we'll see what he pulls when it's all said and done. We can go back and revisit. He's not going to be worth what he wants, especially for a team like the Detroit Lions. He's going to be a bit of a luxury. So saddle Minnesota with that spend. That's fine. Let them deal with the contract. That's fine. And we get their picks. We get picks from a division rival, and they land in our shop, and we can do some good work with them. I feel good about that, actually. I feel like if you have a player that doesn't want to be here, Matthew Stafford is a great example. He's a player that didn't want to be here anymore. He wanted to do something before the end of his career. A quarterback's career, generally, is going to be longer than a tight end. TJ's feeling it. He wants to see something come out of it. He wants his next contract to be with a winner. It's cool. All right, go on. We'll take the picks. We've got 104,000 picks in the first 2 rounds next year, and we'll take those and turn those into talent. And that's often how you build a team, is to roll up on those picks and build a team from that. So TJ, wish him the best, except when he plays the Lions. Good stuff for him. Minnesota, they're going to take the burden of his contract. They're going to take on the loss of the picks and the talent. Gives them a little bit of a right now, a win now kind of a situation. And it gives us the rebuild kind of ammo that we really want and need. People talk about a quarterback. We're probably going to be looking for a quarterback next year. Defense, we can just load up on defensive players next year. Who else is going to go? Who else is going to stay? That's all to be discussed and determined yet. But we're now in a much, much better position to sign free agents from a cap perspective. Especially, I mean, you start losing Goff, you start losing some of the Brockers. There's a potential scenario where we have $60 million available in cap and all those draft picks. It's a hell of a great place to be in. And, well, yeah, you don't have TJ Hockenson. But I think this is good. I think this is good in the scheme of where the Lions are and what they're doing and what they're building. I think what we haven't really heard and we all kind of feel and know right now is the Detroit Lions are absolutely bashing that reset button this year. This season is done. There's no playoffs, there's no Super Bowl, there's no can and will this year. I think the front office and the coaching staff knows what they're dealing with and what they're looking at right now and are adjusting accordingly. That being said, that helps us get that quarterback. Is it CJ Stroud? I don't know. Nobody knows right now because quarterbacks will change so many times and the draft stock will change so many times between now and the draft. We'll, of course, be at the Senior Bowl. We'll talk about all the talent that's available there, all the players that are available there, and what comes out of that. Because we are always there. We make real content. We don't copy and Xerox the stuff that other people do. So we'll have all that, and we'll track this for you as we go on. We brought Scott in this year. He's going to have a whole lot of extra coverage in addition to what Jeff has on the draft and the group of us that we're planning to bring down to Senior Bowl. I think you're going to be really amazed by the coverage we do this year. But we'll get into that later. That's not for now. So there we are. That's it. TJ Hockenson out from the Detroit Lions. What does it mean? It's probably a net positive in the long run. Everything that we talk about is about time. Who won the Stafford trade? We got dog walked. When he walked out, we got Jared Goff and 2 first-round picks. Those 2 first-round picks are turning into something nice. Jared Goff, he's not, but that's not that big a deal. And that first-round pick from the Rams next year is already a top 15 pick. That team seems to be on fire right now, just desperate and not able to execute. So, maybe that can tumble into a top 10. We'll see. The NFL this year is really crazy. There's a couple of teams that are executing and so many that aren't. And frankly, it's probably a good year to be at the Commander Goff running that tank and driving us into the pick we need. Quarterbacks will be a premium. I would also add, I don't know that we'll draft a quarterback. And this is something to talk about because that Rams model may hold true. Drafting a quarterback may not be it. I'm not going to say Lamar. Someone else will say Lamar. Did you say Lamar? There's other people out there that are veterans that we could sign. It's kind of that Rams model. They're a great example in recent memory and Lions memory to just get an established quarterback to take that team to win. There's going to be a lot of talent on this team next year. There's going to be a ton of talent on the Detroit Lions. Young talent. There's going to be free agent talent. We've got a lot of money to spend. This is going to be an interesting rebound. What this front office does with the talent on the team between now and next year is going to be absolutely pivotal. It's going to be the headline. It's going to be the banner, Who are these people in our front office? Who are our coaches? Who's our GM really? This will tell. We'll know seeing what they do in free agency and the draft this year because this is the time now to go in, to invest, and to build your organization. The cleanup time is over, right? The first 2 years, you got a 6-year contract, fine, whatever. We're Lions fans. It's been 136 years since we've had success, fine. But you want us to come and ride along with you. Let's see it, because this is the point where there's no more chances from here. This is where we need to see it. I've heard from a lot of Lions fans, season ticket holders. They're at the end of their rope right now, and I feel it. I feel it with them. There's a whole lot of retools, rebuilds, reshuffles, and rejects that we've been through. And as fans, we need to see it. We need to see it from this team. And it's great to be a fan. It's great to have your team and love them and all that kind of thing. But at some point, you need to see something of competence, is probably a good word, to come out of that team. So I expect we'll see that. This offseason will be definitive for this front office, for this coaching staff, for the ownership. And we'll really know what the next 3 to 4 to 5 years hold based on what happens in this offseason. TJ Hockenson is groundwork. It's foundational work for what we expect to see. lot to come, a lot from the Detroit Lions. Hit me in the comments. Tell me what you think of the TJ Hockenson trade. Tell me what you think the next step is. Do we get a veteran quarterback? Do we get do we draft our quarterback, and why? Don't just say it's Stroud. Tell me why you think Stroud is the guy, because he has some knocks against him. There's, all of them have their knocks. Every player that you draft has their knocks and has their upside. Tell me why you think the upside is the one for the Lions, and why the knocks are no big deal. Subscribe, like, do all that kind of stuff. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for watching, and we'll hit you up with a podcast, a bigger show with Jeff and I both very shortly here. Maybe this weekend, but for sure next week. It's been crazy with my travel schedule. You see the luggage in the background. It's been just off the hook. I was at Ford Field this weekend, and I'm now in another town for work. Get home later this week, and we'll see what happens. So we got you covered. We got your stuff. You don't have to be in the building to get the information. I got the straight dope for you. I'm telling you, TJ was not going to sign with the Detroit Lions. TJ didn't want to be here, and I don't want to say he was checked out, but his practices left something to be desired. We'll put it that way. So we got value while we could. We settled an in-division rival with a little bit of spend, a little bit of work on their side, and we got some great picks, took that away from denial of value on a couple of fronts, and we'll see what TJ does. I mean, he's going to look great with the Minnesota Vikings. They've got a good team around him, and his addition will make him look better just because they have so many different options on that team, so many different players that will perform. It gives Kirk Cousins another opportunity, another potential playmaker. He will look better in Minnesota than he did in Detroit. As long as he stays healthy, he will. That doesn't necessarily dictate that his talent was better or we misused him. There are just so many other options there, so many other people to cover and worry about, that gives him another opportunity that he wouldn't have had here. So best of luck to TJ Hockenson. I hope I wish him the best until the Lions come up, and then, hope he gets stomped. End of the story. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching.